Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we are going to be doing one of my quick tutorials. Today's tutorial is on the granny square hexagon, solid granny hexagon that I am using as part of the Nickelodeon hexagon blanket pictured here. This is part of my Project Christmas Blanket 2025 goal, which was after the new year project goal I set for myself to make a blanket for all four of my stepsons, two daughter-in-laws, and four grandchildren. So this is the blanket that I'm making for my eldest grandson. This is the solid hexagon that I am using for that blanket. And I wanted to do a tutorial using this one versus the actual granny stitch hexagon that is part of the kaleidoscope blanket. We will come back to that hexagon as well at a later date, but I think one of the things when I make tutorials, I'm very conscientious about giving you multiple options or giving you a canvas to write your own creativity, design your own design kind of thing. And using this solid hexagon form from this hexagon gives you flexibility to make your own design. So you can add textures and bobbles, and you could reduce this, to single crochets or half double crochets. Mine is going to be double crochet, but you will have the tools on how to build this solid hexagon from this tutorial. And from there, you can design your own hexagon, adding any stitches you want to create interest and drama in your finished objects. So I chose to do this one first because I feel like this is the more flexible pattern, whereas the other hexagon I'm using is a granny puff stitch blanket. So I wanted to go with the more flexible, easier to design your own project hexagon first. As I said, for the purpose of this tutorial, I will be using double crochet, but you can do this with a half double crochet or a single crochet. You may want to adjust the corner chains to get the right height and distance based on what you choose to do, but this will lay the groundwork for you. Also, this is a project where you can use any hook, any size of yarn. In this case, I am using a worsted weight yarn. This is Premier Basics, along with my size I 5.5 millimeter Clover or More hook. And obviously, as with any project, scissors and tapestry needles are also needed. So let's get on to the tutorial. This is going to be a quickie tutorial. You will need to know how to chain, how to count your stitches, and how to do exactly what I'm doing, do a double crochet. So I will be right back for the tutorial. Okay, you guys, so we will have a second video that is how I'm joining these for the Nickelodeon blanket. Today is just making the hexagon. So you can use magic loop if you trust your magic loop. I do not trust my magic loop. So I will be doing a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, making a loop, slip stitching to make it a loop. And I am going to chain 1 extra long chain. So to set your foundation, I've seen a couple of different ways to do this. To my eye, and to make math easy, this is my preferred start for the solid hexagon. We are going to do 2 double crochets, 1 double. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat Pippin in the background. I am filming in the kitchen, and he thinks every time I sit in this chair, that means it's time to go out on the catio to go play. But I cannot have the back door open while I'm sitting beside it and film. So I do apologize if you hear him in the background. So we have 2 double crochets, 2 chain 2s, 2 double crochets, 2 chain twos, 2 double crochets. I bet you can guess what's coming next, right? 2 chain twos. You're going to want 6 chain 2 clusters ending with a chain 2. So 2 double crochets, 2 chain twos, 2 double crochets, 2 chain twos. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need one more here, 2 double crochets, and 2 chain twos. All right, so from here, we are going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet to close up our round. So now we have this kind of like funky-itis, almost flower looking circle here. We're going to do another long chain. If you prefer doing a chain 2, chain 3, that's fine. I think the elongated chain there just looks cleaner. It kind of absorbs into the fabric better. That's why I do that. But if you are more comfortable doing a chain 2, you do you, boo. Once again, I'm here to give you the foundation of how to do this, not dogmatic rules. So we are going to do a double crochet back into that chain 2 space we just made. Double crochet. We are going to double crochet into the tops of these 2 stitches here. So 1, 2. And 1 double crochet into the next chain 2 space. And this is why I prefer doing the start of this with the 2 double crochets. I've seen it with 1 and I've seen it with 3. Visually, it is easier to count in evens for most people, not all, but most people. And it also makes it easier at a glance to see what you have. So we have on this row 2, we have 4 double crochets in each of the 6 sides at the end of this. So we're going to chain 2, double crochet into our chain 2 space. Each row we will be adding 2 double crochets to our sections. So we go from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to however many you want to have. In the sample blanket that I am currently working on, the Nickelodeon Hexagon, I have 8 rounds in each of those hexagons. But this is 100% a, look at what you got, look at the design you're building, and from there, build your design out, flesh your design out. So we have 4 double crochets, chain 2, double crochet into your chain 2 space, double crochet into the 2 double crochets, and double crochet into your chain 2 space. Chain 2, double crochet into the chain 2 space, double crochet into your 2 existing double crochets, and double crochet into your chain 2 space. Chain 2, double crochet into your chain 2 space, double crochet into the tops of your 2 double crochets, double crochet into the chain 2 space. Now we have reached back to the beginning of the round, so we are going to chain 2. We're going to look for the top of that first stitch, ignoring our chain 1, and we are going to slip stitch. So now we distinctly have turned our little funky floral circle into a hexagon. Now each subsequent round is the exact same formula. Go up, in my case it is a chain 1, elongated chain 1, double crochet into the chain 2 space we just made. We are going to do, this is now row 3, doubles here. So a double of 1 is 2, a double of row 2 is 4, a double of row 3 is 6. So we're going to have 6 double crochets at the end in each wedge here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is in the chain 2 space. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, double crochet in the chain 2 space, double in the next 4 double crochets. It's funny because I'm filming this at a time where Pippin is normally in the middle of nap mode. But like I said, I came in here and sat down at this seat at the kitchen table, and that means go outside to him. So we doubled in chain 2 space, 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, doubled in the chain 2 space, giving us 6 stitches, chain 2 for the corner, double into the chain 2 space. And to be honest, that is it. That is the magic of the solid granny hexagon. So like I said, you can do this in any stitch you want. I mean, you might get something a little extra floppy if you take it all the way up to like a treble crochet, but you could do, you know, link doubles, half doubles, single crochet, whatever bend you are on. You can do this with fingering weight yarn and a, you know, tiny T90 hook. You can do this with your jumbo bulky yarns. This is just a basic motif, a basic shape. I'm actually surprised I haven't shown hexagons on here before. I have not hit a max size where you need to do funky math with a hexagon yet. I have only done one not motif hexagon. It's my hexagon nap blanket that's part of Project UFO that I haven't finished yet. And for that one, the only reason why we had any funny math in the way that increased out was because I did something wrong, I think. And I had to go back and find a way to make it lay flat again. But if you've done a lot of circles, you will know that you hit a certain point in doing stars and circles where you have to do funny math to make your project lie flat. With a hexagon, as long as you don't mess up your stitches like I did, you don't normally have that problem, or at least I haven't come across that problem like you do with circles and some other shapes that you may extend. So now we're back at the beginning of the round. I'm going to insert our hook into stitch number 1. And there we go. And you can see very clearly here how that chain 1 just kind of blends into the work. By working back and then joining, we have a very clean corner join, just like we do in the granny square tutorial that I showed you guys, where we use the same method to coming around on the granny square. So this is, I mean, once again, it's a very basic, simple shape that you can alter and dude up and change however you would like. So I will sit here and just chit chat with you guys. If y'all want to watch me do a 4th round, round 4, 4 times 2 is going to be 8. So we're looking at 8 stitches. Once again, I love the simplicity of doing the base 2 hexagon because it just makes it so easy. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm going to make sure I have my stitch right there. Also, I know that there are a number of beginners or intermediate beginners that have been popping into my tutorials recently, which I love seeing you guys. You are more than welcome here. One of the questions I did get recently was, how do you know which stitch to go into and start your count from? Now, some designers will design their pattern to count the chain as a stitch. I tend to ignore that and don't do that and do my own thing on the edge, depending on the project. But when you're looking at your work, so I just made this double crochet. It looks like a flagpole with a flag, and the flag is flying to the right. So my next stitch, or say I was going to skip a stitch, I'm going to skip this flagpole and this flag and work into this flagpole and this flag. When you turn your work, your flag is going to be flying, pointing towards the left, and then right-handed or right side is going to be pointed to the right. And that's just an easy way. I heard it explained that way on a show from many, many moons ago called Uncommon Threads. And it was a guy who actually worked for a yarn manufacturer. And he had learned how to crochet from his mom or grandmother or somebody. It was a female family member. And for some reason, even after having crocheted at that point for, probably 20 years, that stuck in my brain in such a great way to help my brain understand, especially when you're working intricate stitch patterns over multiple stitches, to know which stitch is what. And sometimes it can get kind of confusing. So I just always, remind myself the first flag is what I'm looking for when I'm starting a new row around. It's not always the first flag pole. I'm looking for that first flag. And for some reason, that just is one of those weird little brain bits that just really helped me remember what was stitch one, what was stitch two, especially when I was turning my work or working in the round with an intricate design. So I just thought I would pass that little tidbit on while we sit here and chit chat as I work row 4 here. The yarn I'm using for today's tutorial, this is Premier Basics. I do have an affiliate link for Premier down below. This is one of the scraps left over from my youngest granddaughter's Christmas blanket when I did the quilt blanket. That was the blanket I did the 8-patch or 9-patch block from in a tutorial. I do need to eventually come back and do the tutorials for the rest of the blocks in that Afghan. But this was just a scrap that I had on hand. So I thought we could roll with this. So the next video, we'll be doing this as a join as you go, no borders and sashing. So it's literally going to be hexagon to hexagon, just like the Nickelodeon blanket. And then we will come back and do another tutorial. I'm not sure how quickly, showing how to do it using a different yarn to join your squares. But here we are closing in on the end of row 4 here. Because of these samples I keep doing in these tutorials, I'm going to end up with quite the stash of scrap squares that I'll eventually have to figure out what to do with. Slip stitch this closed here. And there we have our solid hexagon, and it has now fully taken the hexagon shape. We no longer have, kind of like a wonky circle or a squaring off circle. We now fully have a hexagon. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. I do generally try to answer any comments or reply to any comments within 48 hours here on the channel. If there is something about this that does not make sense, let me know. But like I said, the next tutorial will be how to do these, joining them directly to one another. And then we will have a whole nother tutorial combination where we talk about the granny hexagon, granny puff hexagon, and joining it as you go with a continuous join as you go with a different yarn. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon.